Sometimes healing is not about getting someone back. It's not about closure. It's not about revenge. And it's not about becoming better so someone finally chooses you. Real healing happens when you stop abandoning yourself emotionally, because a lot of people spend years believing their peace depends on another person. Their happiness depends on another person. Their worth depends on another person. But eventually life teaches you something deeper. People change, relationships change, feelings change, life changes, nothing in life stays the same forever. And when you resist that truth, you suffer. But when you learn how to accept change, when you stop gripping so tightly onto people, outcomes, and the past, something inside you begins to soften. You begin to feel peace again. A lot of emotional pain actually comes from attachment, not love, attachment. Attachment says, I need this person to feel okay. I need certainty to feel safe. I need control to relax. But healing teaches you can survive uncertainty. You can survive endings. You can survive disappointment. And more importantly, you can still be whole without someone choosing you. That realization changes everything. Because once you stop depending on external things for internal peace, you become emotionally free. And this is why so many people stay stuck after heartbreak. Not because they truly miss the person every second, but because their nervous system became attached to familiarity. The mind becomes addicted to checking their social media, checking if they texted, checking if they moved on, checking for signs. But every time you check, you reconnect yourself emotionally to the past. And healing cannot fully happen while your energy is still living there. Your body does not know the difference between memory and reality. So when you replay old conversations, revisit old photos, obsess over what they're doing, or emotionally relive the relationship every day, your body keeps experiencing the same emotional state again and again. That's why healing requires detachment, not coldness, not pretending you never cared, but learning how to release emotional dependence. Detachment means understanding. They are no longer my present. And that can feel painful at first because the ego wants to hold on. The ego wants certainty. The ego wants control. But growth begins when you stop fighting reality, when you stop asking, how do I make this stay forever? And start asking, how do I become safe within myself no matter what changes? Because true security is internal. It's realizing I will be okay either way. That sentence alone can transform your life. Because people who feel secure within themselves move differently. They stop chasing, they stop forcing, they stop abandoning themselves to keep others around, and instead, they begin creating peace from within. Most people were never taught emotional safety growing up. A lot of people learned that love could disappear, that affection could change suddenly, that they needed validation to feel worthy. So later in life, relationships become tied to survival. But healing is learning. You are safe in your own body now. You are no longer trapped in the emotional experiences of your past. You are not that abandoned version of yourself anymore. And sometimes pain teaches you this more than comfort ever could. Pain slows you down. Pain makes you reflect. Pain reveals patterns. Pain forces awareness. Without difficult moments, many people would never wake up emotionally. They would continue chasing validation, continue ignoring themselves, continue repeating the same cycles unconsciously. But suffering often becomes the doorway to transformation, not because pain itself is beautiful, but because awareness changes you. When you begin observing your thoughts instead of becoming them, you start healing. Mindfulness is powerful because it teaches you to witness yourself without judgment, to sit with discomfort without immediately escaping it, to observe emotions without letting them control your identity. A lot of people think healing means never feeling pain again, but healing is actually becoming able to sit with pain without abandoning yourself. It's learning how to remain present during discomfort, because emotions are temporary. They move like waves. Some days you will feel peaceful. Some days grief returns unexpectedly. Some days you feel strong. Other days you feel emotionally exhausted. That is part of being human. Life moves in cycles. Everything changes. Everything flows. And resisting those emotional waves often creates more suffering. But when you stop fighting emotions, they begin passing through you faster. This is why meditation can become so life-changing. Meditation teaches you awareness. It helps you realize you are not every thought you think. You are the observer of the thought, and the more conscious you become, the more power you regain over your emotional state. Because many people unconsciously relive the same emotions every day. The same heartbreak, the same anger, the same resentment, the same fear, and over time, those emotions become familiar identities. But healing requires creating a new internal state, one rooted in peace instead of survival, one rooted in gratitude instead of fear, one rooted in wholeness instead of lack. And gratitude changes the nervous system more than people realize. When you begin appreciating the people who genuinely care about you, your energy changes. You stop obsessing over unavailable people. You stop emotionally starving yourself, trying to earn love from emotionally distant people. And you begin recognizing the love already present in your life. Sometimes healing is simply realizing you were never as alone as you thought you were. There are people who truly care about you, people who support you, people who want to see you heal. And allowing yourself to receive healthy love can feel uncomfortable at first if you're used to chaos. But peace is not boring. Peace is safety. A regulated nervous system may feel unfamiliar, but unfamiliar does not mean wrong. Many people confuse emotional intensity with love, but real love often feels calm, consistent, grounded, safe. Healing teaches you to stop romanticizing emotional suffering, because suffering is not proof of love, and eventually you realize you do not need to hold on to pain to honor what happened. You can appreciate the lessons without staying emotionally trapped there forever. Some people enter your life to awaken you, to teach you boundaries, to teach you self-worth, to teach you emotional awareness, to teach you what still needs healing within yourself. And even painful experiences can become sacred when they transform you into a more conscious person. Because maybe without the heartbreak, you would never begin your healing journey. Maybe without the loss, you would never reconnect with yourself spiritually. Maybe without the difficult moments, you would never learn how strong you actually are. Growth often comes disguised as endings. And sometimes the greatest transformation happens after life removes what you thought you needed. Because eventually you realize your peace was never supposed to depend on another person. Your happiness was never meant to be controlled by external circumstances. Real happiness comes from within, from alignment, from self-connection, from emotional freedom, from presence. And the more you cultivate inner peace, the less external chaos controls you. That does not mean life becomes perfect. It means you become more grounded through imperfection. You stop needing life to look a certain way before allowing yourself to feel peace. And that is true freedom. When you can sit alone with yourself and still feel whole, you stop chasing validation from the outside world. You begin attracting healthier experiences naturally because your energy changes. You no longer operate from desperation. You operate from wholeness. And emotionally, whole people understand something deeply. Nothing external can permanently complete you because you were already whole. Healing is simply remembering that. So if you are currently in a season of pain, a season of uncertainty, a season of letting go, trust that this chapter is shaping you into someone stronger, wiser, more compassionate, and more conscious. You are not broken because you feel deeply. Your pain does not mean you are weak. In many ways, your willingness to feel, reflect, heal, and grow is what makes you powerful. And one day you may look back at this difficult chapter with gratitude, not because it didn't hurt, but because it transformed you. Because now you understand, you can survive endings, you can survive uncertainty, you can survive change, and you are still whole, you are still worthy, you are still safe within yourself. So today, choose yourself again, choose peace over obsession, presence over attachment, faith over fear, and trust that life is still unfolding in ways you cannot yet fully see, because healing is not the end of your story. It is the beginning of your return to yourself. Take a deep breath and repeat quietly to yourself, I am safe within myself. I am whole on my own. I do not need external validation to feel worthy. I release the past with peace. I embrace change and trust life's flow. I no longer abandon myself emotionally. I create happiness from within. I am open to abundance, healing, and new opportunities. I choose compassion over bitterness. I trust that everything is guiding me toward growth. I am becoming stronger, wiser, and more peaceful every day. And if this video resonated with you, comment below. I choose peace. Don't forget to subscribe for more healing, self-growth, and inner peace videos. And remember, the more you return to yourself, the less you fear losing other people.